My desk mate handed me a mint, and I turned around and dumped it into the cafeteria's pass every exam soup for all 4,000 students to share. And somehow, that brought me back to life. In my last life, my desk mate had some fate-stealing system. As long as I ate or drank something from him, my test scores would transfer to him automatically. He was a rich kid. His family had already paved his way into an overseas Ivy. Stealing my college entrance exam score was just a little prank to amuse himself. But I was a poor student from an orphanage. The college entrance exam was my only shot at changing my life. My scores got worse with every mock exam. No matter how hard I looked into it, I found nothing. Then I completely fell apart on the real exam. I was walking down the street in a daze when a speeding truck hit me. After I died, my soul floated in the air, and I heard my desk mate, Gu Yanji, joking around with his lackey, Qian Hu. I seriously didn't expect a test that hard, and young Master Gu still took first in the whole province. That top scorer title is mine now. A broke loser like Cheng Yan belongs in the gutter for the rest of his life. Since I got a second chance, why should he only steal my scores? That's no fun. This time, the entire school's college entrance exam scores are going to become his gift. The day before the third senior year mock exam, I came down with a fever after pulling all-nighters for days. I was slumped over my desk, dizzy and freezing, when suddenly a can of coffee appeared in front of me. Cheng Yan, hurry up and drink this coffee, it'll wake you up. I froze for a second and looked up, meeting Gu Yanji's eyes. In my last life, this was the exact can of coffee he used to steal my national top science score. I instinctively wanted to push it away, but the classmates around us crowded in. Yeah, a poor kid like Cheng Yan probably can't even afford the school clinic. When he's sick, no one cares. Good thing he's sitting with Gu, so at least someone helps him out. Hearing that, Gu Yanji looked even more pleased with himself. He popped the tab on the can. Go on, drink it. My dad brought this specialty coffee back from the source. You can't even buy this in China. Then I remembered. It was right before the third mock exam that I drank his coffee, and from that moment on, my whole life changed. I grew up in an orphanage. I only got into this elite private school, Blue Vine Academy, because of donations and scholarships. For someone like me at the bottom, the college entrance exam was the only rope I had to climb out. Before senior year, my grades were always in the top 3 of my class. Getting into Imperial Capital University was basically a lock. I studied day and night, never letting myself slack off, hoping that summer would bring me an acceptance letter that could change my fate. But starting with the third mock exam, my grades fell off a cliff. The real college entrance exam turned into a nightmare I'd never escape. On score check day, that awful 300-something on the screen felt like a dull blade slicing into my chest. I lost it and filed for a recheck, but the results showed those ridiculous wrong answers really were written by my own hand. Even worse, during the science exam, the footage showed I turned in my paper and left after just half an hour. But I clearly remembered finishing every question and checking my answers until the very last second. The proctor and the students around me all said they saw me hand in my paper early. My memories and reality had split in the most terrifying way. I refused to accept it. I kept appealing and demanding an investigation, but nothing ever changed. Little by little, I saw pity in the teacher's eyes, and even the police sounded helpless. Are you under too much pressure? Are you hallucinating? It wasn't until after I died that I found out this was all done by my desk mate's fate-stealing system. Thinking about the scores he stole from me, I turned cold and pushed the coffee away. I've already taken fever medicine. If I drink coffee now, it could mess with it. Ha ha ha, come on, top student, seriously? Young Master Gu saw you're sick and have nobody taking care of you, so he felt sorry for you and brought you premium coffee. You really think one drink is going to stop you from getting into Imperial Capital University? The sarcasm in his voice was obvious, and everyone else started piling on too, saying coffee will ruin your shot at Imperial Capital University? Wow, acting all high and mighty now? He won't even buy water from the school store. Where would he get money for medicine? He's obviously just a bitter poor kid who's jealous of Gu. Gu Yanji didn't stop any of them from mocking me. He just kept smiling and pretending to be generous as he shoved the coffee into my hand. All right, Cheng Yan, the mock exam is tomorrow. Just drink it already. Looking at the coffee in my hand, a wave of disgust ran through me. It still wasn't time for the real college entrance exam, so I couldn't tear into him yet. Right now, he was out in the open, and I needed to stay hidden. If I exposed him too soon, who knew what else he'd pull before the real exam? I clenched my fists and forced myself not to throw the coffee in his face. Then suddenly, I caught a flash of red downstairs out of the corner of my eye. I turned and focused. It was the banner the school had hung up for the exam takers. Thousands charge ahead, one sheet decides your fate. And just like that, a bold idea hit me. If all those thousands of students ate something from Gu Yanji, would their exam scores transfer to him too? The moment that thought hit me, I held the coffee up and said, "Thanks, Gu Yanji, but my stomach feels awful right now. I've got acid reflux, so I really can't drink it. But since it's from you, I definitely shouldn't waste it. Zhou Lang, want it?" Gu Yanji brought this specialty coffee from overseas. Supposedly it's really great for staying sharp. Zhou Lang's grades were always neck and neck with mine. His dad was our school principal, and his maternal family had serious power in the capital. Zhou Lang glanced at the packaging and was just about to take it when Gu Yanji suddenly shouted. His voice shot up so fast everyone there got startled. When Gu Yanji met my shocked and confused stare, he quickly tried to cover it up. Zhou Lang seems kind of sensitive to caffeine. What if it gives him heart palpitations? Zhou Lang leaned in and checked the ingredients. It's fine. I'm allergic to cheap artificial coloring, not this. This one's natural. A flicker of panic flashed across Gu Yanji's face, but Qian Hu snatched the coffee away and snapped. Young Master Gu brought this specifically for you. Fine if you don't appreciate it, but who are you to hand his stuff to somebody else like you're doing them a favor? That was unbelievably rude. Zhou Lang's face darkened, and he turned away with an eye roll. But by then, I'd already gotten the answer I wanted. So if Gu Yanji gives me something and I pass it to someone else, the system still works. In that case, let's make this game a whole lot bigger. What was the point of stealing just my exam score? When the time came, I'd shove the entire school's scores into his broken system. That would be a game worthy of all the effort he put in. I just decided on my plan and was about to pretend to take the coffee back, but Gu Yanji, clearly afraid I'd pass it to someone else, pulled a box of mints out of his designer bag. "Cheng Yan, If your stomach feels bad, then don't drink the coffee. I've got some refreshing mints here. Have one of these instead. When the people around us saw how thoughtful he was being, they started praising him all over again. Wow, young Master Gu is so caring. He's this thoughtful with his deskmate? Chengyan must have done something right in a past life to get a deskmate this good. Gu Yanji's lips curled up with satisfaction. I was just thinking, if he's sick and his head's all foggy, that could affect his test performance. Chengyan is the hope of our whole class, so of course I have to look out for him. Looking at that fake, hypocritical face of his, I remembered the conversation I'd overheard after I died in my last life. Tianhu was standing there kissing up to him, jealous that he'd gotten first place in the whole province. Gu Yanji flicked his ash and said lazily, I was already planning to go overseas and move in those circles. Who even cares about grades here? Top scorer just sounds nice. Honestly, I just wanted to mess with that poor loser. He acts all high and mighty with a book in his hand every day. Makes me sick. Now let's see how he keeps pretending. Trash is trash. It belongs in the garbage. Back then, I was so furious I almost laughed. Just to toy with me, he used that system and ruined my entire life. This time, I didn't push it away again. I took the mint and casually slipped it into my pocket. When Gu Yanji saw that, he frowned. Chengyan, aren't you dizzy? Why aren't you eating it? I yawned. I'm kind of sleepy. I'll nap for a bit and eat it later. Gu Yanji got nervous. The mint was tiny. If I slipped it into my pocket, there was no way for him to know whether I actually took it or not. Your head is basically on the desk already. Just put the mint in your mouth. It has vitamins in it and it's good for a cold. Otherwise, what if you pass out asleep in class later? He frowned like he truly cared, and everyone around us was clearly fooled by the act. Then the people in the back started whispering again. It's just a mint. What's the worst that could happen? I think he's just way too guarded. Someone tries to be nice to him, and he treats it like an insult. No wonder he'll stay poor forever. Those words buzzed around me like flies. So, giving me a couple of mints counts as kindness, and that means I have to wag my tail like a dog and swallow it with gratitude? Is being poor enough for them to use it as an excuse to guilt trip me when they don't even know the truth? My palms went cold, but I still forced myself to stay calm on the surface. At that moment, Tianhu jumped in and played the bad guy. You won't drink the coffee, and now you won't take the mint either? What, do you have a problem with young Master Gu? Are you picking a fight on purpose? He yanked a chair aside with a cocky look, and even the people around us started glaring at me. I calculated in silence for a few seconds, then finally gave in and took the mint out. I peeled off the wrapper and swallowed it. A brutally sharp chill exploded through my mouth immediately. Seeing that, Gu Yanji finally relaxed. The smile on his face got even brighter. That's more like it. Feeling a lot more awake now? Thanks. Yeah, I do feel a lot more clear-headed. After watching me swallow the mint with his own eyes, Gu Yanji headed out to the hallway, totally satisfied. I pretended to lay my head down and sleep, turning slightly inward, then quickly spat the mint I'd been hiding under my tongue into my palm. Back when I was cramming late at night, I bought a huge bag of dirt cheap mints online. Thankfully, the shape and color were pretty similar, or I would have been exposed right away just from the way they looked. Using a bathroom break as cover, I hid away the specially doctored mint. But when I got back to the classroom, I saw Gu Yanji standing right next to my seat.